Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the PreStream podcast. I'm DarkSidePhil, of course. And today is Saturday, the 18th of June, 2022. Hello, and what's up? What's going on? Hope you're all having a good weekend. And I certainly hope that you're ready for more chill streaming fun today. Today, we are going to be exploring more of PlayStation Plus Premium, which is great. Yesterday, when we actually took the entirety of the stream to jump in, we checked out quite a good amount of games, and actually, I tried out a few games for the very first time that I wasn't even aware existed. You know, now I kind of know what these franchises are that I hear of all the time. You know, Ape Escape. I knew of it as a precursor that, a certain game studio made to other games, but I never really knew what it was. Dark Cloud, people have also mentioned on my streams, and now actually knowing what that is, it's pretty cool. And of course, also testing out more of the PlayStation 3 streaming service, right? God of War 2 was pretty good. A little fuzzy around the edges when it came to the graphics, but outside of that, the gameplay was spot on, I would say. So, entertaining stuff yesterday, and I want to do it again today, with the intention that perhaps as we do this, we can discover even more great games that could be hidden gems that I'll play in the future as playthroughs, or just further, testing the capabilities of PlayStation Plus Premium in general. What other PS3 games would people be interested in seeing me stream, and see how they turn out? I know that someone had recommended Red Dead Redemption, saying that they had actually tried playing Red Dead Redemption on PS Now a bit ago, and it didn't run very well. So they kind of gave up on PS Now because of it. I guess, again, we'll take a look. There's a ton of games there for the streaming service, the cloud streaming, and see what would be interesting to us, right? So, another full stream of this today. And, of course, later tonight, continuing on with Skyrim's Dawnguard DLC, as we basically get really close to the end of the game at this point. So it'll be a full day of streaming. Plus, right here on this podcast, we're going to talk about the rest of the week. Because after today, there's a lot of streaming time that's kind of up in the air. 5 freaking streams that are up in the air. And after thinking about it, okay, I think I've determined at least a good idea of what I want to do. But obviously, I would like to run this by you guys, and see what you think this morning. All right, should be a good discussion, and I'm sure there'll be Q&A today. By the way, yes, today, ladies and gentlemen, this is the day that the gifted memberships from last month are going to expire. If you remember, about a month ago, I gained the ability to have gifted memberships here on DSPGaming, and within one day of me having them, we got 100 gifted members, okay? So 100 people all of a sudden had memberships and enjoyed them. Hopefully some of you who are going to have your memberships expire today will consider renewing them, but we're going to have a dip, and there's nothing you can do about it. It was expected. It is what it is. As I said, with gifted memberships, just like with gifted subs over on Twitch, even though it's a temporary boost, it still can lead to long-term growth. Because if only a small handful of the people who had those gifted memberships decide to renew them because they enjoyed that free trial that they essentially got over the last month, then we're going to see actual, real, organic growth here on the channel. All right? And, of course, keep in mind, there's always potential that if there is a big dip in members, that someone might come and try to boost those numbers back up again by gifting some more. So don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Like, I've been preparing you guys slowly over the course of this week for this, because sadly there's people who just over-exaggerate everything. You see someone might say, oh my god, DSPGaming lost all these members. It's expected. This used to happen on Twitch as well. It goes up and down like this, especially in particular when I'm playing a hot new game. Usually, you'd see some people come in and start gifting memberships, especially if it's a stream that's like packed with viewers. That's usually when people would come in and do it. If we're in downtime, if we're in a time of the year when there's not much going on, it's usually gonna slow down, and it's always been that way. So I've been there, done that. This is not my first rodeo, as they say. Being on Twitch for so many years, I understand the patterns of how it works, and I'm not freaking out about it or anything like that. Okay, keep in mind, and what I actually was gonna get to here. We are currently entering a period of time when literally the only games coming out are retro games. Seriously, think about it, okay? Right now, there's no new games at all but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which we're going to play again tomorrow, That's a retro throwback game for sure. It's new, but it plays in the style of an old retro beat 'em up, right? Next week, what are the 2 new releases? Sonic Origins, a collection of classic Sonic games, and Capcom Fighting Collection, a collection of classic Capcom arcade fighters, right? See? So, wow, retro. What's the next release? At the very end of June, the Cuphead DLC. The Cuphead DLC. Cuphead, a game that looks like an old-style cartoon and plays like an old-fashioned shoot 'em. Do I really have to really, emphasize any further? So, yeah, there is just not a lot going on in the realm of new releases when it comes to hot new AAA games that are going to get everyone's attention and bring butts to seats and get everyone so excited. The thing is, thank goodness, I'm a variety content creator, right? And I play such a wide variety of games that even a time period now where it's kind of slow for big games, there's still stuff to do. I'm very excited to not only be playing some retro stuff over the next several weeks, but to tackle maybe some stuff off of PS Plus Premium. It's a great opportunity to be doing that, right? It's actually perfect timing that this service came out now, because there's just not a lot going on in the realm of games, so it gives us something new to do, right? So, excellent, and I'm excited for this. I hope you guys are too. We're going to talk about the schedule in a minute, and like I said, basically what I'm planning on doing. What I will say is, understand that for those of you who stick around for the retro stuff, thanks. Come chill every day, have a good time with retro games. This is stuff that I absolutely enjoy doing. I like being a variety content creator where I'm not just reliant on a certain style of content, and when we have a time like this, we can toss our heads fully into the retro past and have a great time for a couple of weeks, right? Thank goodness I'm not one of these guys that just focuses on one style of game or whatever, because right now might be actually a really rough time where, man, we got nothing to do, right? And I'm glad that that's not the case at all. But at the same time, please understand, there will not be, likely, I say likely, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I don't feel like several weeks of retro style gaming here is going to really bring giant attendance numbers or anything like that. What I would say is, what I would hope is that there's a core audience that I have who likes seeing me play whatever, and also a core audience who love retro stuff, who come and support the streams and things over the next several weeks as we wait for the new releases coming in July, because there are new releases coming in July, but we have to get to said releases, okay? In addition, keep in mind, you guys are currently nominating games for a viewer's choice playthrough, and what I'm going to do is take the opportunity within the next couple of days, hopefully, to sit down and review your nominations and then make polls based off of your nominations, so that you can vote on what game will be the viewer's choice playthrough, and that playthrough will also begin during this downtime when there's just not a lot of new releases, so we got another new game in the mix, so there's more stuff going on rather than just, retro stuff, okay? By the way, not to say that you guys won't nominate retro stuff, I know some people did. Taking a quick look at the nominations, some people did nominate retro stuff, which is perfectly fine as well. Okay, so let's talk the schedule for the week. Then I'm going to tell you the determination that I've come to in regards to said schedule. Okay, so today, PS Plus Premium Exploration. Quite honestly, there's not that much left in the Classics section, which is only PlayStation 1 and PlayStation Portable and PlayStation 2. They don't have a lot of games right now in their Classics selection. We've played a few of them, such as Ape Escape, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Toy Story 2. There's a few others. Wild Arms, Siren, War of the Monsters. I'm seeing the ones we've downloaded already that maybe we could dabble in. I don't know if you guys want to or not. But basically, those are the ones that maybe we'll try out. But I'm more curious at this point to see how the PlayStation 3 streaming works with other games. Right now, we've only done a couple, right? We've done Third Strike Online Edition. We've done Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. We've done God of War 2. And the other day, we did Infamous 2. Those are the 4 we've done. I definitely would like to do more, all right? Grab some that people may think are games. Maybe purposely take games that we know are graphically intensive. Purposely take games that you think the service may have issues with, right? And tackle it that way. Let's actually purposely challenge the service and see how it does, right? That might be a good way to approach it. Let's see what games really, really work and which ones don't. Like yesterday, God of War 2 HD. I would say it works, but don't expect insanely crisp visuals for the whole playthrough. Like, it looked good for parts, and other parts it kind of looked fuzzy, but it was still perfectly playable. But I wonder what games would push the boundaries of the cloud streaming, right? Why does the banner say PreStream podcast? Huh? Oh, this up here. It doesn't. That's a P. It's a very artistic P. Or you could say it's the PreStream podcast. PreStream podcast. I guess that's okay. You can call it the PreStream podcast if you want. Rolls off the tongue. It's alliteration, double B, right? There you go. All right, anyway. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to focus on today. Mostly PS3 cloud streaming, and maybe actually look at what the modern games are that are available on there too, because quite honestly, we haven't really done that. You know what it is? I don't think too many people are focused on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 library under PlayStation Plus Premium. For me, it's kind of the afterthought, and here's why. The vast majority of the games that are on there, I likely will have already played. You know, all the new releases over the past 2-3 years that they added on there, I've done playthroughs of them when they were hot new games. So it's not really going to affect me that much. But the retro playthroughs, you know, going back to the past and playing those games from my past that it wasn't direct capture, wasn't live streamed, redoing those in a modern capacity with the cloud streaming, that's a good possibility for content. And that's really what I've been exploring, you see? So we'll see what happens, you know, as we explore further today, all right? Now, later tonight, it is Skyrim Anniversary Edition, also known as Skyrim After Hours. We're going to continue on with the Dawnguard DLC. At this point, I would think maybe like one more major stream of this for the DLC itself to finish it up. I think maybe tonight we might finish it up. I'm not positive, but at this point, I've played it for about 7 hours. So 7 hours of this DLC, you know, adding in another couple hours, and everyone says that the DLC is anywhere 10 to 15 hours long, but that's if you do all the side content. So I guess we'll see how it goes tonight, all right? If we finish it, great. Then we're in the end game, because all that's left in Skyrim at this point is a few odds and ends side missions around the world, and then the finale of the story, which isn't even that long. We might beat Skyrim within the next week and a half if I play it consistently on night streams, which I might. So let's see how it goes tonight. Okay? All right. Then tomorrow, on the main stream, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. As I do my second run through the game, this time I'm going to try to use Casey Jones, the new unlockable character that I got when I beat the game the first time. I'm definitely going to do it online co-op. All right? However, the one challenge about that is that I wanted to maybe do it on a harder difficulty, because there's 3 difficulty settings, and I played it on the medium. So I was thinking, hey, I already beat it once, let me play it on the harder one. But when you're doing online co-op, I might not be able to find enough people who want to play it on hard to actually like have a lobby of it. So we'll have to see how it goes. But I definitely want to play through the game one more time as Casey Jones in online co-op and then wrap it up that way. Okay, and that's it. I'm only going to play the game twice. The game definitely lends itself to multiple playthroughs if you want to play with all the characters, but I don't want to play the game 100 times. I just want to play it like twice, that's enough. Okay? All right, then here's the deal. Starting Sunday night, tomorrow night, this is when I have 5 straight streams that are completely open to doing whatever. All right? So here's what I'm thinking. Let's see what you guys think. First of all, I want to play one game off of PlayStation Plus Premium. As of now, based on your feedback and the things that I have played, it seems like the game that had the most interest to be continued as a major playthrough so far has been Toy Story 2. When I played this yesterday for almost an hour, people were blown away with the nostalgia. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe he's playing this game. It's from my childhood. This is excellent to see him play it. This is really neat, you know. People just really seem to enjoy it. Now, I never played the game before. The game does have upscaled visuals, although admittedly the controls and the camera leave something to be desired. The game is so old, I can't really complain, and people really seem to want to see more of it. So I'm down for that. But keep in mind, today we have another major stream where we'll be exploring the service, and if we find a different game that you guys think you prefer more than Toy Story 2, all right, then maybe we'll do that. But anyway, I was thinking we could do a stream of Toy Story 2 tomorrow night on the late stream. Okay? Now, what about Monday? Well, I've been talking with you guys about this, and I've been telling you that, you know, we're heading into a summer where I'm going to play a lot of retro stuff. In fact, the summer starts this Tuesday. June 21st is the beginning of the summer here in the United States, if you guys didn't know. Now, I've debated playing various different retro games and the like. Now, one of the ones I told you guys I'm definitely considering playing is Earthbound. I'm still definitely considering playing Earthbound. However, I'm not going to be playing Earthbound until we beat Skyrim. I'm not going to have multiple RPGs being juggled at the same time. So Earthbound isn't even a consideration until Skyrim has been completed. Okay? So please understand that that's not coming yet. All right? I've been debating some games such as Super Mario Brothers 2, which it seems like there's some interest in seeing me play a retro game like that. But, man, I just can't get it out of my head that I'm craving right now to play a certain franchise that I have actually never played before when it comes to content creation on the internet. All right? And a game franchise where most of the games I've never beaten. I played them back in the day and never got very far. The game franchise that I'm talking about is literally on the screen right now. Oh, you want me to tell you what it is? Oh. It's Castlevania. It's Castlevania. Over here. I've been talking about this for the past few days. That a couple years ago, they actually released a Castlevania collection on modern consoles. And this collection included Castlevania 1, 2, 3, all on the regular Nintendo. Then it also had Castlevania 4 or Super Castlevania on the Super Nintendo, plus a bunch of other games. Now, apparently this collection had a bunch of new features. I think it has save states and other things that make it more modernized. For someone who's a streamer like me, it's a no-brainer that you should have those features, right? Now, Castlevania is traditionally very difficult. It's actually known as one of the hardest franchises from back in the day. As the games got more modernized, they became more like Metroid than Castlevania, hence the title Metroidvania. What ended up happening was, instead of it just being, side-scrolling challenge with a gauntlet of enemies, a few hidden items and bosses, it became an open-world exploration where you find an item here, you have to travel here, you open a secret room here, then you go here, you backtrack here to get this item here, optional thing here, new boss here, go here. That's Metroid. Metroid in a nutshell is a lot of backtracking going around a giant open-world map. Classic Castlevania isn't like that. It's linear. Okay? Challenging, though. Challenging as shit, but linear. All right? Now, in the 1990s, when I was growing up, I did actually rent some of the Castlevania games. I remember actually particularly playing Castlevania 3 because it had multiple characters you could play as. And I remember playing Super Castlevania because it had the Mode 7 backgrounds that moved around while you were swinging with your whip. I definitely remember all of that. But I never beat these games. I just rented them. I never owned a Castlevania game ever when I was a kid. So this would be a cool opportunity, I feel. Get the collection. Jump into Castlevania, play one for a couple of days, probably beat it. Although, admittedly, it will be very challenging and rage-inducing. For those who liked me raging at more old-school classic games, remember last year when I played, what was it? Fucking Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, or whatever the fuck it was called. Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins and Rage Quits. Whatever that game was called, it's going to kind of be like that again. All right? It's going to be that hard. Plus, by the way, Castlevania has some of the best music of any games ever. Like, to this day, I'll play a montage of the best music from old classic video games, and it starts playing Castlevania, like dun 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 dun. Oh, it's so good. Seriously. The music is so fucking good. So, here's what I'm thinking. Okay? Starting Sunday night, start with Toy Story 2, or if we find something better today on PlayStation Plus Premium, we'll do that instead. But right now, I feel like Toy Story 2 is the front runner. Monday, main gameplay stream, Castlevania Collection, likely starting with Castlevania 1. I would think you guys would want me to start with the first game, right? Now, from what I'm to remember, the games aren't super long. But if I'm buying the collection, this gives me the opportunity that if I end up beating Castlevania 1, we can jump into Castlevania 2. Which, by the way, is one of the most cryptic, annoying games ever made. You know how, in the Devil May Cry trilogy, everyone says Devil May Cry 1 is really good, and Devil May Cry 3 is really good, and you should just skip Devil May Cry 2? A lot of people say the exact same thing about the original Castlevania trilogy. Castlevania 1 is outstanding, 3 is very challenging but really good in the same vein as 1, and 2 is stupid because it has a bunch of cryptic shit you need to know in order to make progress. For example, without the game telling you, you're supposed to need to know that you have to have some kind of a crystal in your inventory, kneel against the wall, and stare at it for like a minute. And then a whirlwind will come and grab you and take you to the next part of the game. And if you didn't know that, you can't make progress in the game. Without the game ever telling you this, by the way. You're supposed to know. It was one of those situations where back in the day, if you didn't have like a game magazine like Nintendo Power, or if you didn't buy the strategy guide, you would have no idea how to beat the game. You'd just be stuck indefinitely. Okay? So, we'll see how it goes, but that's what I'm thinking. Monday, we start with the Castlevania collection on the main stream. Then Monday night, likely it will be more Skyrim, okay? And at that point, if we haven't beaten Dawnguard, we definitely will, and we'll head into the end game of Skyrim. Then on Tuesday, because yes, I am streaming this Tuesday for clarification purposes, it'll be more Castlevania collection. And then on Tuesday night stream, it'll be more Toy Story 2 to end the week. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how long Toy Story 2 is. I didn't play it. You guys did. So I'm curious if you guys know how many stages are in Toy Story 2 and how lengthy of a game it is. Do you think that as long as I keep doing well, like I did yesterday, and it was less than an hour, I beat the entire first stage and got all the Planet Pizza tokens or whatever, Pizza Planet tokens. If I play it 2 night streams this week, another 4 hours of gameplay, do you think I'll beat it? Again, PlayStation 1 games were quite short back in the day, except for RPGs, so I don't know how lengthy this game is. Especially because it's a kid's game, right? But maybe it's super long. I don't know, right? So, I'd be curious. You know, will I beat it or not, right? And Alexandru is asking about the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. I don't have the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. You're talking about like over a decade ago. Over a decade ago, I played a lot of retro games, and I was going to conventions at the time. And I was buying retro games at conventions. This was a long time ago, way before I even moved or did live streaming or anything like that. And I remember doing a series of Ninja Gaiden where I played Ninja Gaiden 1 on the NES, and then I played Ninja Gaiden 2, and I beat it. And I didn't play Ninja Gaiden 3 because I didn't have it. I didn't beat Ninja Gaiden 1 because the ending is one of the hardest things you could do. It's an insane gauntlet to beat the game. So to this day, Ninja Gaiden 1 still remains one of my most challenging, unbeaten games. It's the game that beat me. Maybe one day I'll go back to it and try to beat it, but I just never have. But I do not have those games. If there is a means to play them, like if there's a means to play the classic Ninja Gaidens from NES somewhere, then maybe one day I would go back to them. But to my knowledge, they don't have that, right? There's no Ninja Gaiden trilogy anywhere or anything like that. I think what it is they do have a Ninja Gaiden trilogy, but it's the modernized games, the 3D ones. It's not the old school ones, right? Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 1 is one of the hardest NES games ever made. Here's why. You get to the final world, World 6. You play through 3 stages that are all ultra challenging. You get to the final boss. If you die on the final boss that has multiple phases, you go back to the beginning of World 6. You have to replay the entire fucking world from start to finish again to get back to the boss. It's like, so how are you supposed to learn the boss pattern if you have to replay the hardest stage of the game over and over? It's like, you know how in Dark Souls and FromSoft games they do that sometimes? You have to run through the whole stage to get to the boss again. This is the first time that really that was a problem. And it's actually one of the hardest things you can do in gaming. So, I've never beaten it. I think one day I would like to, but I've never beaten it. We'll see. But anyway, I don't think I have the means to play that right now, sadly. Anyway, so, just to recap, here's what I'm thinking for the rest of the streaming week. Today, PlayStation Plus Premium, Exploration, and then Skyrim tonight. Tomorrow, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge Final Run with Casey Jones online co-op, and Toy Story 2. Okay? Monday, Castlevania Collection and Skyrim. And then Tuesday, Castlevania Collection and Toy Story 2. Okay? Now, I'm off on Wednesday this week. When I return on Thursday, there's a new release. That's right. It is Sonic Origins, the new retro collection, where you can play through the classic Sonic games, only this time with new modernizations. For example, remixed music, I believe. I think that they might have improved some of the gameplay elements. I don't know if I would replay Sonic 1 and 2 again because I just recently played those back on the Genesis Mini a couple years ago. But maybe we should jump right into Sonic 3 and Knuckles, right? So maybe that's what we'll do. But that's going to be on Thursday. Thursday night. I mean, I could either do Sonic all day long, or I could do more of the retro stuff where Thursday night I could maybe do more Toy Story 2 if I didn't beat it yet. Then on Friday, this is the big release for me for the next week. Friday is the release of Capcom Fighting Collection. This collection features a wide variety of Capcom arcade combat style games, including 7 different versions of Darkstalkers. Okay, I think it's like Darkstalkers, and then it's the Night Warriors, which is the sequel, then Darkstalkers 3, but then it's got Vampire Savior, which is the spin-off version, and then Vampire Savior 2, which is all the spin-off version, but then there's Night Warriors 2, which is also a spin-off version. Yeah, there's a lot, okay? So, there's all of that, plus Hyper Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Edition. This is an amalgamation game where it takes all the different versions of Street Fighter 2 and combines them into one. Where you could play an old school version of a character versus the last version of a character. Pretty interesting. Then, there's other arcade games such as Red Earth, Cyberbots, Gem Fighter Mini Mix, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. So there's a good variety of content in this collection. I will start covering it on Friday of next week, offline on the first stream, meaning I'm going to go through some of the games offline, play through them, see what they are. Some of them I don't know. I never played Red Earth or Cyberbots, so I don't even know anything about those two. We'd have to mess around with them together to figure out what the hell they are, okay? So that'll be fun. And then on the late stream, Friday night, it's the premiere of me playing these games in multiplayer. Now, admittedly, I don't know what's going to happen with that because people might just not know what's good and what's not and just play everything online in a randomized setting. For me, I know for a fact Hyper Street Fighter 2 and like a game like Vampire Savior or Vampire Savior 2 will be the games that are the most competitive because those are the ones that were played at high level in tournaments. But there may be people playing Red Earth and Cyberbots and other thing online. I don't know. I don't even know about those games again competitively. So, I'll be doing that. It'll be daytime, offline, nighttime, online. Okay? And what I'm thinking is I might even do 2 days in a row where it's the same thing. Daytime, offline on Saturday, and then nighttime, online play again. All right? Then I'll probably alternate and go back to Sonic for Sunday. And then Sunday night, maybe do a break from the multiplayer, and then maybe bring back one of the retro games, like either do Skyrim, or maybe throw in Toy Story 2 if I didn't beat it yet, or maybe throw in Castlevania. You see? And so what's going to be a mix is the daytime streams will either be Sonic and the fighting game collection. The nighttime streams will either be the fighting game collection or a retro game or Skyrim. Which is why I'm happy that we're going to beat Skyrim sooner rather than later, because once we get Skyrim out of the rotation, we can focus on everything else and not have Skyrim kind of lingering unfinished. Okay? It's all good. Welcome Plum Girl, welcome Jade. People are coming in now saying hello. Hello everyone. Welcome. Okay, so that's kind of the rough idea. Now, the next major release is a week after that, which is the Delicious Last Course DLC for Cuphead, but sadly, they're saying it's only about 4 hours long, which probably means a daytime stream and a night stream because I'm going to be very rusty. I haven't played Cuphead since it came out like 5 freaking years ago, so I definitely won't be good at the game or whatever, but I definitely want to do that DLC. Then after that, there's just not much going on until the middle of July. So, that would be the ample time, the prime time, to number one, start the Viewer's Choice playthrough, which is why I need to start going through your nominations and make that poll for you to vote on. But also, for us, to solidify the discussion of what I'm going to be doing for my next major React event. Okay, what is it going to be I'm reacting to? When am I going to do it? You know, what I'm thinking is we're going to do like we've done with similar React events. Not the last one, which took me all day, but one where I'll order food on the pre-stream. We do some React stuff. There's a Feasting with the King. All right, we do some more React stuff. And at the end, I'm going to do a fantasy match in WWE 2K22. Last time I did one over a month ago, you guys absolutely loved the 30-man fantasy over-the-top battle royale that I did. So I want to do another one this time with new characters and stuff. Big variety, interesting stuff. Okay? So, that is what we're looking at for almost like the next month when you really think about it. I hope that sounds good to you. And for those who doesn't, I'm sorry that there's just no high-profile AAA releases. We're heading into the summer. This happens every single year where there's just not a lot going on in the realm of high-profile new releases. You do your best at what you can do, right? Excuse me. Like I said, once we beat Skyrim, now a realm of possibilities opens up for me to get a new RPG-style game into the rotation and balance with everything else. but we got to get there. Okay? All right, give me 1 second, everyone. 1 second. Be right back. Ah! Ah! Ooh! 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 Sorry. A vampire snuck in. I had to beat the shit out of him. I impaled him on my my vest rack, so he's dead now. Turned into ash. Okay. So that is the schedule. Hope that sounds good to you guys. All right. As for anything else, as I already said, today is the day that sadly this will drop 100. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out. If you lose your membership today, sorry. Consider renewing it if you liked having that free trial over the last month. And perhaps we'll have someone who will feel generous and come in and give some memberships today. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed the gifted memberships while you had them. We are going to see a big dip today. It's not a huge deal. It's not a giant, issue. We're going to come back. The most we ever had is 634. Right now, this is the record. And I get the feeling that gradually over today, it's just going to go boom. There's nothing we can do. All right? Don't freak out about it. Outside of that, excuse me. There's pretty much absolutely nothing going on gaming news-wise. I scoured the internet this morning for gaming news. There's nothing. What ended up happening was there was gaming news overload for like a week and a half, 2 weeks there because of all the digital presentations. But now there's nothing. Now there's some rumors. There's a rumor there may be a Nintendo Direct by the end of this month. And there's a rumor that there may be a Sony State of Play by the end of this month. And that State of Play would be solely focused on God of War Ragnarok. Okay? Now, before we head into the next segment of the PreStream podcast, now that the dust has settled, okay, I would like to talk with you guys about the live reacts that I did with these gaming events and give you my overall thoughts about them, okay? Okay, you ready? So, what did I do live reacts to? I live reacted to the State of Play about 2 weeks ago, which was the one that covered a lot of different various things, Sony was doing. I covered Summer Game Fest, the major 2-hour presentation that they did, right? I covered the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, and then I covered the Capcom showcase. So I did 4 big gaming react events within 1 week. Were there more than that? Yes, but they weren't as important. In fact, a lot of people said, wow, they were all skippable outside of those 4. Everything else was kind of boring and not really interesting, okay? Now, how did I cover them? Well, when those events were live streaming, I sat here on camera with you guys, and I live reacted to what I saw, gave some commentary, took notes, because I knew that I was going to want to do a different style of video after the fact, okay? Now, the thing is, why did I do that? I had always been resistant to doing those react events up to this year. But this year, as I told you guys, I'm trying to diversify my content. I'm trying to be a more varied content creator because I'm starting to get older. I hit 40 years old 2 months ago, all right? And as soon as I hit 40 years old, all right, immediately I noticed my teeth all fell out and I had to get dentures. All right, I started growing giant tufts of hair out of my ears, and I have to take a weed whacker every morning and weed whack it out of there so it's not sticking out. All right, immediately carpal tunnel struck me, and my hands started to tighten up and curl like this with excruciating pain. And my balls immediately grew down to my kneecaps and started dangling and clapping against each other like this, like the perpetual motion dangle machines. You ever seen those balls that clap together? That's what my testicles are like now. So all this happened immediately when I hit 40 years old. And it was all a wake-up call for me. I was like, as much as I enjoy full-time streaming, as much as I enjoy gaming with you guys every single day, I know I won't be able to do this full-time forever. And it's just not going to be possible. I'm going to get older. And as I get older, I'm going to start to have physical limitations, right? I am. I'm not going to be able to play these games to the capacity that I do today. My hand-eye coordination is going to get thrown off. I'm going to get more sluggish. I'm not going to be able to see as well. My hands are going to start to hurt, right? All this is going to happen. This is just inevitable. This is not, this is, doomsday talk or cynical talk or whatever. This is going to happen. Everyone gets old. It's just a part of life, man, right? So, with all that, on the horizon, oh boy, I'll have to talk about, right? I figure I got to diversify my stuff. I can't just be doing gameplay constantly. I just can't. It's not going to work. In the long term, I can't be playing games full time for the rest of my life. However, there's many ample opportunities to do other things outside of my comfort zone that you guys have asked me to do over the years, and I kind of ignored. So one of the things you guys asked me to do always was react style content. Instead of it just being gameplay, why don't you react? So I have done that. Excuse me, it's disgusting. I have done that. If you look at the past 2 months of time, all right, I did a full react event to Down the Rabbit Hole Wings of Redemption. And man, did that open my eyes to the guy as a person and a content creator. And I finally understand the memes, and it kind of made sense. And you know what the funny part about it is? Since I did that react event, it seems like basically he doesn't really get talked about that much anymore on my streams. I don't know if it was just the fact that I finally kind of addressed it, and maybe the memes aren't as funny anymore. But I basically, once I did it, I just noticed people don't really talk about Wings that much or give him a hard time on my streams anymore. It used to be constant. It was like every fucking stream, people would be talking about Wings. And now it's just kind of gone away. Maybe once in a blue moon, someone mentions him. So I don't know if that's what it was or not. But anyway, it's just an observation I had, okay? Then I reacted to my own Down the Rabbit Hole, which obviously cleared up a ridiculous amount of things about me and my history as a person and a content creator from over the years. And then just recently, a couple weeks ago, I reacted to the John and Howard video that had come out in 2015 that basically was meant to be like a character assassination piece against me to effectively end our friendship, which it did. But I finally addressed a lot of the issues in that video, and that also opened a lot of people's eyes to me as a person. And like, wow, a lot of the shit that they said was complete half-truths, or in a lot of cases just untrue or unfair. Although, admittedly, you know, this was a kind of an interesting walk down memory lane for me, because going through my history like this in those two videos allowed me to see some of my shortcomings as a person and as a content creator in the past, and realizing I don't want to ever go there again, right? I want to be a better person in the future. And it's good to go down memory lane and remember the past so that you don't repeat the mistakes of the past, right? So there you go. But in addition to that, I did these game reacts, all right? Now, doing the live react to the event as it happens, all right? I can understand there's a little bit of hype behind that, because if you were already going to watch the event live anyway, and now you get to watch it with someone who's maybe one of your favorite content creators on the internet to see how they live react to something can be pretty neat. I mean, let's be honest, every time that I play a game for the first time, you're essentially watching a live react, right? Take a look at me reacting to the introduction to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game a couple days ago. It blew me away. They basically recreated the animated intro of the cartoon only for a modern audience. It was really neat. My jaw dropped. I was like, I can't believe they did this. They did a great job with it, you know? And people love that. They're actually saying that's one of their favorite parts of the playthrough, is just seeing me react to the intro. Because, you know, here I was as a kid, I watched that intro a million times on TV, and now I'm watching it as a 40-year-old adult and realizing the whole new audience is now seeing this, you know? Pretty awesome. So, that's a live react, right? So I understand the appeal, but, you know, going back and honestly watching and or seeing your comments about the live reacts that I did to those events, just as I expected. Let's just put it that way. Just as I expected. Did they blow up in views? No. Did people say, wow, Phil's finally doing live reacts. This is so awesome. This is so good and a good part of his content, and I can't wait for the next one? Honestly, no, that didn't happen. Okay? People were just kind of like, Phil's live reacting. Okay, like everybody else. And they got a couple thousand views in some cases, sometimes not even 2,000 views. The live streams did okay. You know, sometimes they got good support, sometimes they didn't. It was kind of a mixed reaction. I'll tell you this. You want to know what consistently did better? My recap reactions. Now, what's the difference between live react versus recap react? Live react I'm doing during the event. I don't have time to give you an intelligent opinion on anything, because the event's going from topic to topic to topic. So I have to very quickly react or comment on something, and then we're on to the next already, right? Which is why, for me, I had to take those notes to remember everything so I could do my recap reactions later, okay? In a lot of cases, I would make some joking comments. Make fun of Troy Baker because of NFTs and shit like that. And people are pissed. Oh, why is he making jokes? Why is he doing that? Then what do you want me to do? Just sit here with my mouth taped shut? What's the point of the live react then? I just don't understand. People wanted this for years, right? I finally give the people what they want. I kind of joke around in a you know, observatory manner, live commentary style manner, much like I would do with a gameplay, right? Gameplay video, I would do the same thing. Oh, why is he doing this? Why is he talking there? They're like, seriously, shut the fuck up. You wanted it for years, you get it, and then you complain about it. Like, I just don't understand some people, okay? So anyway, I did all those live reacts. Do I actually feel like they added anything? Not really. Just being honest, I didn't think they ever would. And honestly, after looking back at them now, it's a week later, I don't think that any of them really added much, okay? Now, my recap reactions is when I summarize everything that has been said in that event. I go through it in detail. I tell you what I think about each topic that was covered in detail, and that does not feature any footage. So there's no chance of getting claimed for content ID, getting blocked or muted. Instead, it's just me relaying my thoughts on what we saw. That did pretty good. In some cases, I'm not kidding, my recap react video did better views-wise and engagement-wise than the actual live reacts did on YouTube. Okay? I think what it is that I've been doing the recap react style content for so many years at this point. Every E3 I do it, and now since E3 is gone, now I do it with the other presentations. People are just used to that. They're used to me giving an intelligent summary and opinion, not giving, silly joke, silly reactionary comment because we're going live and I have no time to really say anything intelligent because we're moving so fast through the live react. And I've told you guys over and over the years, I told you guys, I don't think the live reacts are worth anyone's time. You can't do anything intelligent in it. It's essentially just, how are you going to have a lot of hilarious laughs at a live react if someone acts like a Muppet? If someone literally sits there and every single time something is revealed, they go, oh, what? Oh, then, because they're acting like an idiot, a cartoon character, you get some level of entertainment factor out of those live reacts, right? But in general, someone who's a normal fucking person who does that, you're not going to get that. It's just kind of stupid. You could be watching it yourself. Wouldn't you rather have an in-depth, intelligent analysis of what's going on rather than someone just acting like an idiot for clickbait views? Which is exactly what, and I hate to say it, it's a whole generation grew up with that shit. How many people back in the day, 10 years ago, got popular on YouTube and Twitch for playing a horror game and putting on a face cam, and every time something scary happened or even pretend to happen, they would overact, and everyone loved it, and then they became millionaires. It's a fucking sad fact, but people are just suckers for this garbage content, and it made people fucking rich. And apparently it still to this day remains popular with people who think it's funny. It's just, to me, that is so stupid. That is the dumbest content you could put out on the internet. It's low effort. It's zero intelligence. It's made for people who have the brains like made of peach fuzz. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck cares about that? I want to see someone talk about everything that happened in that presentation intelligently and analyze it and give me their insight from where they come from as a person and a gamer. Not making googly faces like an asshole and freaking out, you know? I think there's a whole culture behind it. There really is. There's a whole fanboy culture, especially, I'm watching a Nintendo Direct and I'm geeking out at every announcement at the Nintendo Direct, right? I'm watching the Sony State of Play and oh my God, I freak out about the Sony State of Play. Now, by the way, I want you to understand I'm being very generalized. I'm absolutely sure there's people out there who maybe do it better, but I'm just telling you in general what I feel, all right? Got to cover the generalizations here. Not every case. I'm sure maybe there's a few, like someone just said in the chat, I really like Maximilian's react. I've never seen Maximilian react before. I can't comment on him. Maybe he does it different, and if he does, good for him. But I've never seen it. I can't respond to that, okay? All right. Anyway. So, I live reacted to everything for a week, and then afterwards, I did my recap reactions. In general, I think the recap reactions got a better response than the live reacts. I'm just being honest. If you look at the views, I think the one exception was the very first one I did, the State of Play. I think that react got like 5,000 views because it was the first one I did, and people were like shocked that I did it. And we're like, holy shit, Phil is actually changing and doing things we're asking for. So it got a lot of views. But outside of that, after that, they just kind of slowed down. I think the most after that's like 2,000 views. Not even a big deal. Okay. Thank you so much, Zendertaker, for a ginormous super chat. And I will shout that out at the shout-outs portion of the pre-stream later. Thank you so very much. That's a lot of support for the channel. I appreciate that. Okay. So, what ends up happening is, I did it for, the Sony State of Play. People seem to like it. All right, I'll do it for the whole week coming up. What happened? I lost my freaking voice. By the end of me doing all those reacts, my voice was shot. And by the way, as of today, it's still not better. I still have a tiny bit of swelling and a little bit of gunking up in the throat. I mean, one day I talked 7 hours straight without a break. Radio hosts don't do that. And it's their job to talk all day. And they don't talk 7 hours straight without a fucking break. They take breaks. I was talking 7 fucking hours. Okay, pre-stream, live react, recap reactions. It was ridiculous. Okay, so all that being said, did I enjoy doing it? Yeah, I did. And in fact, at a time when there just was not a heck of a lot going on in the realm of new game releases, it definitely gave me some good content to do on the streams. I enjoyed having that variety of content. As I said, I'm branching out this year. I'm trying to do things differently. I can't just do pure gameplay constantly. This was definitely a way to introduce new content. But, man, it took a lot out of me. It did. It took a ton out of me. So I don't know what to do about it. I'm thinking, I don't want to make a determination yet. For example, let's say that they say, next month there is a big Nintendo React, right? Let's say that there's a, what do they call it? What do they call it? Nintendo Direct. That's what I was saying. Let's say they have a Nintendo Direct and it's a bunch of big announcements in it, right? Coming up. Would I do a live react to it? Maybe, but it would have to be at a time that makes sense. I'm going to tell you right now, no, I'm not completely changing around my daily fucking schedule for these things. They're not worth it. Like, seriously, I'm going to get up 2-3 hours early, lose sleep to be here live for it, and then feel like shit for the rest of the day, and then the next day too. No, fuck that. It's dumb that they do them so early anyway. They should be doing them middle of the day. What is it? Oh, we want to make it so that Europe can see them too, right? It's like, yeah, but people, it's fucking 9 a.m. No one on the west coast of the U.S. is watching that shit. Like, you're fucking stupid. I'm just not doing it. If there is one that makes sense that's during, like, normal time when I would be doing content, then maybe I would consider doing it again. But I'm not going to go crazy and go out of my way to be doing these live reacts if they're going to completely destroy my regular schedule. Okay? I'm just not. All right? What's hilarious, people saying 9 a.m. isn't early. Do you not see my streaming schedule? My stream starts at 10:45, runs to 4 p.m. There's a 2-hour break. Then there's a stream that runs from 6:45 to like 9:30 p.m. And in between there's work. And then after that, there's like time for fucking life. Yeah, if I completely change my stream schedule to be earlier, then it doesn't make, again, you're just being stupid. I don't even know why I'm addressing it. It's dumb shit. People, oh, it's not early. Yeah, it is. For someone who works a set schedule, to ask them to get up 3 hours fucking early to cover a one-off event, it's dumb. It's stupid. It's irrational. It's unreasonable. And you're an asshole for being a dick about it. Shut up. I mean, you saw how shitty I felt, right? That day, after I'd done it, that was the day that I did the 7-hour talking stream. I felt awful. That night, I had almost no voice. The whole next day, I had almost no voice from doing it. So how are you going to say, oh, it doesn't affect anything? It fucking killed me. I felt like shit for 2 days. In fact, it wasn't until my day off that I recovered from it. So what the fuck are you talking about? You're being an asshole. Okay. Now, like I said, if there ends up being a good event that falls within the realm of the times that I'm going to do my normal stuff, then I'll do it. All right? But I'm not going to go crazy changing my sleep schedule and everything for them. All right? I heard there's a Sony State of Play coming up about God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, I'd be very excited to cover that one. I want to know all about God of War Ragnarok. I hope they don't do it at fucking 8 a.m. That'd be really fucking stupid of Sony. So we'll see what happens. All right? Now, next year, I mean, usually the year of the reacts, or the time of the reacts, is right about now, right? And I guess the question is, yearly, will I do the live reacts or not? I don't know. A lot changes in a year. Who knows what's going to be going on in a year's time? Maybe I'll do it next year. Maybe I won't. All right? I'll tell you what I will do. I'm always going to be doing my recap reacts. That is what has meaning to me. I feel like if I go through all the announcements during one of these shows and I give not shout outs, I give summaries of everything that happens in each segment, and I give you my intelligent opinion on each segment. That has meaning, both to me and my audience, right? So I'm going to keep doing that no matter what. That's never going to go away. But the live reacts, I mean, listen, I like doing the special events. I like doing a whole day where I react to something fun or interesting, and then we do like a Feasting with the King, and I do a special event like I'm going to do this fantasy wrestling match or whatever coming up. That's fun to me. Oh, we did a special react event, and it was a good thing. But doing these reacts all the time to this shit, nah, I don't know, man. I just feel like, again, it's people who, they don't understand that I am not everyone else. All right? Take a look at me, and then take a look at everyone else out there that makes content. Tell me how the hell there's a similarity. I am so different, and I'm lucky to be different, right? I'm lucky to be the guy that for 14 years gets to share his daily gameplay experiences with all of you. And I get to be honest, and I get to be transparent, and I don't have to be Mr. Positive, happy, shy, smiley face for my audience every day. I put on a happy face, everyone, because this is how you get all the opportunities on the internet, right? Right? Not like that. You know, I'm an honest guy. I want to be transparent with you when I play games. I want to share my real experiences and real opinions with you. I don't want to be the guy that pushes product down your throat. Oh, you got to buy that product and use promo code DSP and it helps me out, and then you get a nice product that's a piece of shit, but who cares, because I get that cut, right? It helps me out. Oh, today's stream is brought to you by... Hold on. Where did I put it? Where did I put that one? Today's PreStream podcast is brought to you by DSP Cereal and Head and Shoulders and Mr. Fuck It. And, you know, wow, do you like this podcast, guys? What do you mean you can't see me? What are you talking about? The podcast is right here. This is, you know, what do you mean? You know. I mean, seriously, and I know this is a joke. It fucking made me piss my pants when I saw that fucking Painkiller Already podcast. The third of their fucking screen was ads just like this. It's like, how can anyone watch that fucking shit? Are you fucking stupid? You have to be a moron to watch that shit. It's obvious what their focus is. When a third of their fucking screen is ad placement, I get the feeling I know why they're making the fucking show. Good Lord, some people are just so fucking stupid and gullible, I swear to God. But anyway, you see the point I'm making. I'm very different from everyone else. Yes, maybe the live react shit works very well for everyone else out there because they have their audience that likes it. They've seen them do it for years. They like seeing them ham it up for the camera and act like a cartoon character at announcements, and it gets them clickbait views and people throw money at them. That didn't happen. If you take a look at those live reacts for me, that didn't happen at all. What ended up happening was I basically, you know, reacted. People thought it was okay. My recap reactions were much more well received, which is what I always do. And I ended up feeling like shit. Really, like, not until like today do I feel like my voice is almost fully coming back. Like I said, I still feel a little bit of swelling and gunk in there from last week, from overexerting myself. But is it really worth it? You know? Now, the thing is, it's not always going to be like that. It's not always going to be a full week where I have to react to stuff back to back to back. Every once in a while, if there's a one-off event, and it's scheduled for a reasonable time, and it's not going to interfere with a major ongoing playthrough event, then I would definitely consider doing it, okay? But it's not something that I want to do all the time, and like I said, even next week, I may actually have to, like, think about and consider, not next week, next year, I might have to think about scaling back my reactions to this stuff during this typical summer E3 time, because it's just so much in a short amount of time. I took 7 hours in one day. I mean, Jesus, that was stupid. Pre-stream, live react, recap reactions, Q&A. Gee, I wonder why I have no fucking voice, right? Anyway, I love your feedback on it. You know, in general, the feedback was, at first, people liked the live react, and then after that, didn't feel like it was very special. Just being honest, that's what I saw. And, you know, people liked the recap reactions better in general. That's what people told me directly in comments and with engagement and actually with support. I ended up getting more support on the recap reactions than I did on the live reacts, right? All right. So, I definitely want your feedback. Please give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. And based on your feedback, we'll determine what I do in the future. All right? All right. It's time for shout-outs. We'll start on the YouTube side of things, mostly because there are 0 tips today. So there's nothing to shout out there. So we'll start on the YouTube side of things with shout-outs today. Okay? Okay. So we start off with Ruby, who did a series of super chats. Ruby's first super chat, she says, try streaming a PS3 racing game like MotorStorm Apocalypse for nostalgia, and then we can see if it smoothly streams fast-paced racing game. Fair enough. Let's maybe do that today. Let's take a look at what's available for, the cloud streaming for racing games and see how one looks. I think we should. Let's take a look what's on there, and let's pick one, and let's check it out today. Okay? Then Ruby did another super chat. So did you know Nickelodeon All-Stars is on PS Plus under monthly games? You should test it out since it's free and you love that style of game. No. Why? Nickelodeon All-Stars released and was a huge flop. Everyone said it sucked ass. It's nowhere near as good as Smash Brothers. It's obvious that the budget was very small. The gameplay elements are terrible. The game has insane unbalance with characters who have like one-button infinites and broken shit, and it's just not fun to play. Most people played it once and dropped it. So no, I'm definitely not going to waste my time with that. I mean, there's obviously a reason why the game is free. Okay. Okay. Zendertaker with a $2 super chat. So love you very much, and I hope you're well. Thank you, Zendertaker. And then Zendertaker did that whopping $50 super chat. Thank you, Zendertaker. That will definitely help the channel in the long term. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Then Zendertaker became a channel supporter as well. Here's what I'll do by the end of today's PreStream podcast. I will check. We'll see how many members we have, because I get the feeling we're going to have like 500. We're going to dip a ridiculous amount because all those memberships are expiring. As I'm talking, I'm seeing people who had a green name for a membership going back to gray. So I know that the memberships are going down. Kagome just lost theirs. I think Black Lady Walking lost hers. So people are losing them right now. Nothing you can do about it. Okay? Okay. Continuing on, Roadblocks also re-upped their channel membership today. Thank you to Roadblocks for helping the channel by being a member. And Zendertaker did another super chat. It says DSP's anti-bullshit shampoo. That is right. Did you guys know? I'm going to show you that again, by the way. Thank you, Zendertaker, for all your support this morning. Did you guys know? All right, that this right here. I'm going to click it again. Where is it? Shit, I lost it. Where is it? Oh, can I see it now? There it is. Did you guys know that this stuff down there, do you know how old that shit is? Did you know that that stuff's almost 10 years old? Right? You probably wouldn't even think that, right? So, way back when, all right, at one point, I decided that I wanted to do a podcast. In a really dumb move, because back then I was stupid, I named it Hate Live. Now, back now you think, oh my God, someone made a podcast all about hate? Of course not. But the name would make you think that, right? I mean, for those who know my old moniker, the King of Hate, that made sense to call it that. But obviously, in this day, in retrospect, it's like, Jesus, that was a really stupid name, right? Anyway, so back then, about 10 years, it was when I started live streaming, really. So probably like 2013, I wanted to have variety, and I wanted to do a live show. And so I started that podcast. And it was actually one of my longtime viewers and fans, they know who they are, created a bunch of artwork to run during the streams. And actually, one of the segments of that podcast was about like games and board games from back in my childhood. And someone had asked me about Mr. Bucket. They said, did you ever play Mr. Bucket? And I said, no, I never played Mr. Bucket, but I remember the ads, because the ads back then used to stick in your head so badly, because they were all had like little jingles like, a Mr. Bucket, pulse will pot in my mouth, a Mr. Bucket, out of my mouth I will pop, a Mr. Bucket, whee, we're all gonna run, a Mr. Bucket, and the buckets are fun. I remember that. To this day, I remember that, okay? So I talked about it on the show, and then what happens? Someone makes fan art of it. So these are actually fan arts that are super duper old. These are from like the origins of when I was doing a podcast like 9 years ago. And they have persevered. Here they are to this day. I mean, I don't do the podcast anymore, right? Every day I do a PreStream podcast, so I don't need to have that podcast anymore. But isn't it cool that here we are years and years later, and I can still bring this stuff up on the streams as a silly reference and stuff. It's pretty neat. Okay. Very nice. We got a couple more shout outs here. AmpZ did a £2 super chat. It says Code Veronica today. It's on PS Plus. Well, here's the thing. If you want to see me test it for a little bit and see how it runs, great. I'm not doing a playthrough of it now. And I feel like that's a game, you know that Resident Evil games all have very short spans. Short spans. Let's try this again. I got distracted by a troll. We all know that Resident Evil games have very lengthy intros, okay? The exception being probably Resident Evil 1, which is hilarious because it's mostly a cheesy B-movie cutscene, then you go right into the game. But the other Resident Evils all have these really lengthy intros that kill a lot of time. I don't even think that that playing Code Veronica would be a good demo of the streaming of PS3 because, you know, it's not very graphically intensive, it's not motion intensive, and we'd be stuck watching a 20-minute intro. So it's probably a bad example of a game to try for PS Plus streaming. Unless we're going to do a playthrough of it, which we're not doing today. Okay? So I understand your excitement of seeing me play that again. I mean, ball, pock, beef franks is one of the funny things that happened over the years, completely unplanned, that scared the shit out of me during that playthrough. And to this day, we haven't replicated something as silly as that, right? So maybe we'll play it again one day, but not today. Okay? Zway has done a super chat. Says, I remember the old moniker, long live the king. And as I told you guys earlier this year, when I retired the King of Hate moniker, said, you know, times have definitely changed, right? Let's be honest. The world has changed. Times have changed. And even if you and I know what it means, the vast majority of people on the internet will not. And they'll spin it in a negative way. People have, in fact, like I said, I fully believe that last year, when I had all these negative things happen to me, right? All in a very short period of time. We had Stream Labs decides they're not going to take tips anymore for my streams with no explanation. All of a sudden, Twitch kicks me out of their partner program, claiming that I use hate speech on my streams, which I don't, okay? All these things happening in a short period of time, there's a pattern. Come to find out, which I did find out, that it was my trolls contacting these businesses behind the scenes in the guise of pretending to be like a bunch of concerned SJW citizens. Are you aware that you are working with someone known as the King of Hate, who is a hateful person, a racist, a sexist? Have you seen the things he said and done on his content over the years? Are you aware that he made this video about Jews 10 years ago? Are you aware that he did this and that? And so basically they did this coordinated effort to try to get me canceled on the internet. For the most part, it didn't work, except for Streamlabs and Twitch. They reacted. Everyone else that they tried, it didn't work. It was a huge failure. It was a waste of their time. But it's sad to say that, yeah, it did work with a couple places. All right? So I knew in the modern climate and the scheme of things, how things are today, I wasn't going to be able to keep doing things the way that I'm doing. I was like, I can't keep these old monikers that don't make sense in the modern era anymore. It's time, by the way, it's time to refreshen things up. It's time to rebrand DSPGaming. It's try to have a new way of doing things this year. The PreStream podcast, new layouts, new overlays, right? New shows, react events, different things. Spruce things up, get things going fresh this year, right? So it all went hand in hand, and it made sense, right? But it really is a shame that, you know, people do such nasty, disgusting things, and you have to say, oh yeah, you know, he had a show called Hate Live. Don't you? What do you think? You want that guy on your company? It's like, what? Did you watch the show? Do you know what it means? Of course you don't. But that's the problem. Today, the way the world is today, you can't even have to have a situation where you need an explanation. It just has to be, everything seems self-explanatory at face value. The PreStream podcast is self-explanatory. It's a pre-stream for my daily streams, and it's a podcast. You can't misconstrue what this means. You know what this show is, and it's not anything offensive, right? No one's going to say, oh my God, the PreStream podcast. I'm so offended at that. No one can do that. And that's what I mean. That's how things have to be in 2022. Everything has to be upfront, honest, transparent, safe, not offensive. You can't possibly have something be construed in a way that someone would find it, you know, as something that could offend someone. So. I'm happy that that I have a history that people can watch, but it is what it is. Things change over the years, right? And you do what you do. Thank you. Now let's get to tips. Atlas Telemon to me $1.50 and says, can't wait for you to play Street Fighter 6. It's going to be a while. I get the feeling that game will probably be out, I'm going to guess, mid to late 2023. Atlas Telemon 9. Atlas Telemon 9. Yeah, I think it's going to be mid to late 2023. And, you know, hopefully it'll be good. I really want it to be good. The thing is, you would think they're going to do a beta. If you remember how Street Fighter V launched many years ago, which many of you don't. So they announced way ahead of time that there would be a beta of the game during the summer of 2015. I think it was like, I want to say July of 2015. Or it could have been August, but I don't exactly remember. You could find it. The videos are live on right here on DSPGaming. You could find it. It was the biggest fail event ever. They launched the beta. Immediately the servers crashed. No one could play the beta. They tried again later in the week. The servers crashed. No one could play the beta. And then finally, on like the third attempt, the beta semi-worked, but not really. It was still a huge mess. So the beta was a ginormous flop, okay? When the game finally launched, it was a good 7-8 months later. I think it was like, so since summer 2015, the game didn't launch till like February of 2016. Or maybe it was summer of 2016 and the game launched in February 2017. I don't 100% remember. It was one or the other, okay? And basically, it even flopped then. When the game finally came out, it flopped. It was terrible. Didn't work at launch. People couldn't play it, and there was no offline content, so the game was essentially, you paid full price for a game that had bare bones content that couldn't be played because the online capability was broken. So, you gotta hope they do a better job with Street Fighter 6. You would think if they're gonna do a better job, they gotta test the shit out of this netcode. So they're gonna have waves of betas. So once we start hearing, oh, a beta for Street Fighter 6 is coming, that's, I think, when we can start to get excited for the game. But outside of that, I'm not going to get super hyped or pumped. I like what I've seen. But unlike all these other content creators on the internet that are micro-fucking-analyzing every frame of data that we've seen and everything, I'm not like that. I looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks good. Okay. We'll get back to it when there's more actual information and maybe a beta available. That's my wait-and-see attitude. I'm not going to go crazy talking about it every day. Anso Kamaru to the $1.50 says, I'm tipping to show some support. I'm going through every level of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trying to complete all the challenges, minus the no damage runs, because fuck those. You should try completing some challenges if you don't take a liking to the multiplayer mode. Well, as I said, tomorrow is going to be my last run. I've already seen the whole game, and even though I know some people might get hooked on those kind of repetitive challenges, usually I don't. I want to try Casey Jones because he's one of my favorite characters in the Ninja Turtles universe. But once I kind of beat it with him and I do the co-op, that's it for me. I mean, that's the whole game, right? The game's 3 hours long. That's why it's a Game Pass game at launch, you know? Play Cool has tipped $1.50. It says, oh shit, MT Apocalypse, I guess Motorstorm Apocalypse, is on PlayStation Plus Premium. I don't know. It might be. Can't wait to see the return of Beginner's Trap. That was honestly one of your better playthroughs considering it was only racing and no plot. No, there was plot, remember? It was just really bad cutscenes. Really badly done cutscenes that weren't very interesting. Kind of wedged in between. Kind of remind me of Twisted Metal in a way. Well, again, excuse me. As we check today for what games I'm going to be streaming on PlayStation Plus, I think what we should do is try to purposely choose games that are going to challenge PlayStation Plus's cloud streaming service. A racing game would be a prime example of a game with a ton of shit going on that it could end up being very blurry and not work. I think we should actually challenge it because we've played games like fighting games seem to work, right? MMS 2 for the most part worked, had some fuzziness and pixelization, but for the most part worked. God of War 2 again, for the most part worked a little bit. But I'm curious what games will really not work on this thing, right? we got to push the limits today. No, I'm not continuing with the chorus of the Calamari. I already played through it once, and then I did alternate endings. I'm done with it. We saw what we wanted to see. Okay. Alice Telemon did a super chat. Excuse me, a $1.50 tip. He says, does who know long live the king? I think he meant to say those who know, not does who know. Thank you for the tip. Okay, I think that's all the shout-outs. Yes, as of now, I've covered all the shout-outs. Sub says, can we add a game if already nominated Omori is on Game Pass? What do you mean, Sub? What do you mean by adding one more game? I'm not sure what you're talking about. You mean for viewer's choice? Did you nominate it in the poll? Or the thread? I'm not sure what you're talking about. No, we are not playing Toy Story today. Lucas, you are late. I announced on the pre-stream today that unless we find another game today that's even more fan requested than Toy Story 2, then Toy Story 2 will begin as a playthrough starting tomorrow night. It'll be the late stream on Sunday night, and then I'm going to play it again on the late stream on Tuesday night. Okay? Okay, well, Sup, you should nominate it. If you want that game to be a possibility, you should definitely nominate that, okay? Jeremy Kyle says, do you think it's strange Street Fighter 6 is based in Metro City, but there's no Final Fight character? No. Because you know they're going to add them. You know there's going to be DLC. I mean, come on. You know it's coming. And Metro City is only one of the stages. It's the one that one of the game modes is based in, but there's other stages as well that aren't in Metro City. So. Big Papa Phil is here and tipped $5. Biggest tip of the day. Thank you, Big Papa Phil. He said, couldn't make it to last night's 30th anniversary send-off. I was watching Top Gun, which is a great movie, by the way. Lots of action, a lot of heart. I watched the video on demand. Great last stream. I will miss it. Onward, but onward with the new collection. Right. You know what they say? Onward and upward. So I think this new collection is going to be an upgrade for us. I really feel that way. You guys are going to see how interesting it's going to be when I'm playing Hyper Street Fighter 2 and you got people picking different versions of the characters from 5 different games. And how people, you know, have their own spin on how to play each of those characters. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. And I will likely be playing different versions of the characters. For example, Champion Edition Bison is so broken, he's good as shit. Maybe I'll try picking older Balrog, Hyper Fighting Balrog, which is hilarious because he's not that good, but it would be hilarious to see him against modern characters. Original Zangief, World Warrior Zangief, when he does a spinning pile driver, when he lands, he's right next to you. He doesn't bounce away. So he can do spinning pile driver, walk up, tick throw, spinning pile driver again. He has like almost an infinite setup for it. It's pretty broken. So there's a lot there to mess around with the various different versions of characters from the different games. Remember Hyper Fighting Guile? Also, there's Champion Edition Guile. Champion Edition Guile also is ridiculous. So there's all different Guiles to mess around with. So it'll be an interesting collection for sure. I am kind of excited to play it again because I haven't played it since 2006 because it was a tournament game in 2006 and then they dropped it for another version. It was in Capcom Classics Collection 2 on PlayStation 2 that everyone wanted to play, and I was like, what happened to Anniversary Edition? I liked it. And everyone's, no, we don't want that. Drop it. So they dropped it, and then they found out the new one that they all adopted for tournaments was shitty. It had insane input lag and drops, and they're all complaining about, like, well, you dropped the better game for the worst game because you bandwagoned and you fucked everything up. Okay, so Ruby has tipped $10. Excuse me, not tipped $10. Ruby has done a $10 super chat. My bad. This after a long childhood of trying to beat Toy Story 2, I picked it up this morning after seeing you play it, and I beat it, tokens and all. The game is 15 levels, shouldn't be long. How long did it take you, Ruby? I'm curious. You know, if I play this as a night stream, I don't know how long it would be. If it's 15 levels and each level takes like 30 minutes, right? Then I guess it wouldn't be that long of a playthrough. But I don't know if the levels get more challenging or whatever. You know, I'm trying to see what I'm getting into. Taking this game into my rotation, I want to make sure I'm not biting off more than I can chew right now. You know. All right, Play Cool has confirmed MotorStorm Apocalypse is part of the PlayStation 3 cloud-only streaming games. If we wanted to test that today, we could. Or we could pick a different racing. I think we should do a racing game today of some sort. All right, you guys ready? Because here's what we're going to do. I told you we were going to do this. We're going to check and see how many members I have now. I guarantee you we're at 500. I think I probably lost about 100 members during this pre-stream. Because this was the time, again, when we had the giant member bombs a month ago. So I bet it dipped significantly. I know some people lost their membership during this pre-stream. So let's take a look. Prepare your butts. So remember, guys, the record was 634. Adios to the record. We are now down to 576. I knew it. And then there's another 50 because there were 2 big gifts. Okay? So remember the number of 634. That's the most we've ever had. Okay? 576. There we go. There we are. You say not that bad, but I tell you, there's another 50 that are going to drop within today. And then what's going to happen is, there's going to be incremental drops, like 20, 30 here or there, because then with people just slowly, there was no other giant. It was that first day, there was 100. And then after that, there was 20 here, 30 there, but they were slower over time. So you will see some drops, but it's never going to be like, oh my God, I lost 300 in a day. It's going to be a slow dip. But again, what I would hope is that many of you who got those gifted memberships will consider renewing them, and maybe we'll get some more people who want to gift again and try to get back up to where we were. I guess we'll see. Yes, Carlos, likely, he just says he wanted to come by and see if he still has his membership. He thinks his expires later today. Because if I remember, there was someone who gifted 50 on the first stream, and then someone gifted 50 on the later stream that day, if I remember correctly. Yes. All right. All right, guys, last chance. Any other questions? Anything you want to do before we jump back into PS Plus Premium here? Anything else to discuss before we begin? Please tag me in the stream chat, so I know you're talking to me. Hello, Guts. How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Savoy, I may do more Dark Cloud in the future. For now, we know what it is, so I'm not going back to it immediately. We'll see. I don't know what Lego Brawl is. What the hell's Lego Brawl? Never heard of it. What's up, Gavin? Can I sing a line for us real fast? No. I don't know what that means. Did I ever play The Surge? No. Because The Surge is made from the same people as Lords of the Fallen. And I absolutely hated Lords of the Fallen. It was a complete mess at launch. A ripoff, basically. They didn't even finish their game and released it. So after that, I said, I'm not buying anything from these guys ever again. I got ripped off. Can we play War of the Monsters today? Possibly, Jay. We'll see. It's a possibility. I don't have a favorite chip. Well, check out Red Dead 1. Red Dead 1 was requested by a few people. I guess some people have been saying that when they originally got PS Now, previous to this new service, they had tried to play Red Dead 1 on it, and it's unplayable. Like, the game runs like shit. So maybe we could test that today and see if that was one of the games that just doesn't work with cloud streaming. We could test it. Yes, Ruby, I saw your super chat, shouted it out, and you're on the leaderboard. Absolutely. Yes, I heard Earl Hebner's twin brother Dave died. I have no idea what that has to do with my gameplay pre-stream podcast, but yeah, I read about it on Twitter. Rest in peace. Lego Brawl's like Super Smash. Oh my God, a Lego Smash Brothers now? Does everyone have to make a Smash Brothers? So we got Smash Brothers. Then we've got Nintendo All-Stars. Then we've got Multiverses. And now we need Lego fucking Smash. Like, come on, man. How about they do something different? Ugh. Do my new headphones help with ear infections? Well, I've had these neck phones. They're not headphones. Let's get that clear. I've had these neck phones since October of last year is when they finally arrived. It's now June. I've had 0 ear infections. I've had 0 ear pain. I've had nothing wrong with my ears at all since I've worn these. So I guess there's your answer. You remember, 2 years ago, I had chronic ear infections over the course of the year. I'm glad that you loved the Lego Star Wars playthrough, Tyler. I loved doing it. I thought it was quite entertaining and fun to go through all those movies. But, I hate to say it, Star Wars has really lost its prominence recently. I think a lot of people lost faith in Star Wars, or at least the movies, I should say. with that last trilogy. A lot of people like The Mandalorian. A lot of people are enjoying Obi-Wan right now, but it seems like when it comes to the movies, no one really cares. So, it is what it is. I had a good time with it. Derek Long would like to see me play the original Red Faction. Because I didn't watch The Rise of Skywalker. It's a great film. No, but I played through it. I thought the plot was terrible. I played through it in the Lego collection. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Excuse me. All right, anything else, guys? Last chance, or we'll get started. No. Apparently not. What I think of The Last Jedi plot? I thought it was all right. I didn't hate The Last Jedi like a lot of people did, but I didn't love it either. I thought it was all right. Like, I didn't have an issue with Luke like a lot of people did. A lot of people absolutely hated Luke Skywalker in that movie, and I thought that it was all right. But I definitely feel like what they did in the movie, like Snoke being a pushover waste of everyone's time, was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why did that happen? It was stupid in that regard. No, we didn't play Worms Armageddon yet. All right. I guess we'll end the pre-stream here, guys. All right? Thank you for chilling with me, as always. Let's jump into more PlayStation Plus premium fun and see what we can find today. Like I said, I think we should test the limits of the cloud streaming today and see what works and what doesn't. Because I think that's what really people want to know is, like, you know, wow, it has all these games, but what works and what doesn't? Are you going to get this service, try to play a game, and now it's a disappointment, right? So I think we haven't found that yet. I think maybe today we should actually actively try to do that, you know? All right, excellent. Thank you. Cool.